It's time getting on this live. Time moves quickly. I was looking at my look, I lost the lock. Anyway, I was looking at the time and it went by so very quickly. And next thing I know, I was like, oh shoot, it's time to start. Went to go hit the button and it didn't start, but that's okay. That's how things work. There we go. I had my hair pulled back and didn't realize it. Hello, hello, happy summer solstice. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And this is my witchy review. And we're going to talk witchy stuff and we're going to do a book review and we're going to just celebrate because I am in such a great mood. Because it's the summer solstice. Things are good, things are happy. I want to talk about a couple different subjects while we're on here as well. And just celebrate. So hopefully you guys are in a mood to kind of hang out with me and listen to my tangents and rants as I go on a bit. And we talk about a host of witchy subjects. We gonna get this here together. Oh, yeah, we can get this here together. Thank you, Che. What does that say? Che, yes, thank you, Che. I appreciate you saying that. I'm feeling a vibe today. Nice to see you. I'm glad you like to see me. I said nice to see you. Nice to hear from you is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I want to get into this, everything. I want to get into the witch casket box as well. But I want to kind of open up with a bit of a story time. And it has everything to do with the summer solstice. I'm going to pull up my other thing because I realize with glasses or not, I cannot see the writing that small. Ancient spirit lamb, I sure am. Hear about how you observe the solstice. Oh, we're going to get into that. I'm happy to tell you. I'm happy to share that information with you. Let me go ahead and do myself a favor and pull this up so that I can see on my screen. All right, I'm good to go. Okay, so I can look over here at the comments and I can talk over here. So there is a clear quartz crystal. Hi, gemstones. I have a clear quartz crystal that I just found. So I'm going to take you back. This time last year, I live in Arizona. I was in Sedona with my coven. If you didn't know, I belong to a coven. The name of the coven is Leap Taken. It was open to the public some years ago, and since then it has become a closed group, a closed coven. At some point we'll maybe open it up, but right now it is closed. If you ask, it's closed. I do have a public space called Leap Taken, Safe Place for Witches on Discord, and I want that to be more like a public type coven, very informal, but I actually am a high priestess of a formal coven. You went to Stonehenge? Nice, nice. Bucket list, on my bucket list. Anyway, so we were in Sedona. We were in, to say a group of witches came together in a home that back to a vortex mountains. It was magical. It was beautiful. And one of the things that I did as a high priestess for my coven is I purchased clear quartz. I bought crystals with me to hand out to each one, along with some other items. But when I was there, we went to a shop and they had, witchy shop. So I purchased some crystals, and I figure I would get them from there, kind of like a souvenir. And in our summer solstice ritual, it was tied in. Long story short, everyone had theirs. When I came back from Sedona, I didn't have my crystal. I could not find it, and I looked everywhere. I had a host of different events that happened that if I was a different person, I would have seen it as negative, but I'm not. Like I caught a flat tire, I was up in the mountains, it was a whole thing. I had to have my car towed from Sedona to where I am, which is, outside of Phoenix. So that was the whole thing. But I'm thinking during that process, maybe it fell out, and I knew I put it in a secure place. I could not find it. Yesterday, on the official day of the summer solstice, yesterday, the 20th, I was able, I recently traveled and I have a book bag. It's like the kind of book bag, it's really good quality. You would put like your laptop and stuff like that in it. Anyway, so I just recently traveled back home to visit my family in New Jersey. So I came back this week. I'm finally unpacking the bag. Spoiler alert, I didn't unpack it right away. So I'm unpacking the bag in the front pocket. I want to point this out because it's not hidden. In the front pocket, there's that crystal from the last solstice. Please understand, it is not an accident that I found it on the solstice of this year. I have been looking. I turned that bag upside down. I have been looking for this thing because one, I even talked about it here around this time last year once I got back from Sedona. I remember, I think I was on a live and I was talking about how I couldn't find it. And I thought it was the fairies and all this sort of stuff. And I'm still not discounting that. Anyway, um, I mean, it was so emotional to me to have misplaced it because it was so much significance. Yes, it's about the crystal, but it's about, the connection, because those stones were a connection to my sisters, my coven sisters. And it was within a ritual and I couldn't find it. It was really upsetting me. I had been talking about this with them not too long ago because I was like, this is ridiculous that I can't find this crystal. Like, it really bothered me. And there it was, right there in the front pocket. And I just stuck my hand in and I was like, I am not crazy. I have searched this bag high and low. I have used this bag in between. It doesn't make any sense. That's just magic. It's just magic. It came when I needed to charge it for the stuff. Thank you, Princess Diaries, exactly. It definitely did. It came when I needed it. And it's emotional because there's a lot more tied to it for me right now. Just where I'm at right now and having that renewed what I know to be true, but sometimes even though we know magic is real, even though I'm someone who teaches how to live a magical lifestyle, even though I'm someone who puts it out there, I'm out and about letting you know I'm a witch, practicing magic, even though that's the case, because just like everybody else, I am having a human experience. Sometimes life gets you, right? And it's hard to focus on that. It's hard to really focus on it because you have so much other stuff going on and things that you have to focus on and things that you're trying not to focus on. And it's just taking so much brain power and physical strength and emotions to just kind of keep yourself balanced. The magic can get lost. And that was the perfect reminder I needed to remember that there is magic and it shows up when you need it. And I needed that. I needed that so much. And there's been a couple different things, but that was the solidifier. That did it for me, and it just gave me it put a battery. The clear quartz crystal put a battery in my back, and I just feel more me. I feel like more me right now, and I feel so happy. I feel so good, and I've been struggling. It's not that I've been struggling with feeling happy. I wouldn't say that. It's more like maintaining my normal sense of just happy-go-lucky attitude, or just, it's been a struggle as of late. And that just made me feel so much better. And I've been feeling that feeling, almost like a childlike sense of wonder that it's hard to maintain as we get older. And it came back, and I feel so happy, and I feel so good. And I just wanted to open it up with that. So how do I celebrate the summer solstice? In ritual. That was a big part of the ritual, that crystal, and it just click, 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 renewed my faith. So I do things. I'm a cottage witch, first of all. So decorating, which might seem like a mundane activity, it's not for me because I'm appeasing house spirits. I'm appeasing my elemental spirits that I work with here. Those of the Fae. Well, technically, elementals is technically under the whole Fae umbrella, but anyway, yeah. So I'm working with them, and I'm using color magic and aromatherapy and even the cleaning and cleansing, which we're going to get into when we go over this book. But even cleaning and cleansing is part of my ritual of bringing in the summer, and it's not exclusive to a day. So I'll do a summer solstice ritual on a specific day, but there's other rituals that I do for this season, especially to begin to start the season, kind of like in the same way people do certain things at the beginning of the month to welcome in the month and the energies, and kind of insert the energies that you would like to bring about at the beginning of the month. That is how I approach summer, the summer season, the solstice. So there's the solstice period, which is started yesterday, and I believe most people mark it by the 22nd. I would say the 23rd, but to each their own. I would say the 23rd. I actually prefer to think from the 19th to the 23rd when I think of the summer solstice. So it's not just exclusive to necessarily a day when we're speaking like for rituals and magic and things like that. But anyway, so cleaning and cleansing is kind of a thing. I just think light, airy, so I want to burn a certain incense to burn for the air. Open the windows. It's hot here, so we would be doing this first thing in the morning, and the windows can't stay open. Sprays, fragrance sprays. I got that Florida water spray bottle in my Ink Goddess Creations box. Perfect thing to use, just to kind of just cleanse it and just give, just some positive light, energy, air, vibrational type thing. That's, use stuff like that. This is the time, not that I don't do this any other time, but I feel called to bring that in. And I cannot emphasize color magic enough. So I'm looking for bright colors. I'm looking for flowers. I have some fresh, beautiful pink flowers just in my kitchen. I'm gonna go get some more, and I'm gonna put some on my altar today. These are the types of things I bring in. Flowers, like soon as spring comes, same thing with spring, welcoming that in. Flowers, I want flowers. The foods that I'm eating, that's ritualized for me because that's part of kitchen magic. So I'm going to make sure I'm having more light meals, smoothies, salads, all types of salad, not just like lettuce salad, but, cucumber salad. Although, watch the cucumbers right now because there's a major recall, but that's another conversation. Anyway, but things like that. So these are the rituals. This is what I mean to live a magical lifestyle. It's not always about burning candles and doing, all that sort of stuff. I love that too. But it's the living part. It's the daily activities that can become ritualized. Take it a step further for the summer, for the season. Wait until we get to fall. But we're going to stay, I'm going to stay in the present because I'm happy here. But the fall thing goes crazy with me. This is just so light and breezy. I just want to have fun. I want to go out and just be out and about. When I think of summer solstice, and I did want to talk about this, I think of all that. I think of, good drinks. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, although I don't mind. But, good mocktails with fresh fruit. I think of fruit. I think of sex. I think of, letting the skin out more. It's time, let that sun touch my skin. Flex this melanin. That's what I think of. I think of, I don't know. I think of a goddess, and I just think of, at one point I lived near the ocean. I lived in Florida. So definitely going to the beach and just being in the presence yes, in the daytime, but I like to go at night. I like to go at night. And it was something about the mystery of just seeing the moonlight on the surface of the ocean. That was magical to me. But for now, I think of these beautiful sunsets in Arizona that have hues of orange and purple and things like that. And I just celebrate all of that. Being still, not being so busy. This is what I think about when I think of the summer and the season, and especially the solstice. Celebrating. Hopefully that helped. I know there was a lot of talk, but I'm happy. So I'm going to give you all this information. So, I'm going to save the box for last because I'm really excited about this book. I'm really excited about this book. I've read this book in the matter of hours because I was totally, once I got my readers out, because the print is small, once I got these readers out, it was on and popping. Like I was able to read this in a day. So, Marie Laveau Voodoo Grimoire by Denise Alvarado. And I purchased this book. I talked about it here on a Witchy book haul. We did a little research. We talked about who the author was. If you're curious, Denise Alvarado. It does matter to me who's writing these books and their background. Before we talk about the book, let's talk about who wrote the book, because that's important, especially when you're talking about this type of book. So, Denise Alvarado was born and raised in the rich Creole culture of New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay? The author of numerous books, including The Magic of Marie LaVEAU, Voodoo Hoodoo Spellbook, and the Voodoo Doll Spellbook. She's a teacher of Southern Conjure at Crossroads University. If you want to see about her, CreoleMoon.com. Go there, you can look into her. Which I did because I was curious. Because again, when you're talking about books like this, it's very important for me to know who wrote this book. So with that being said, I love this book. It is not common for me, I'll be honest with you, to find books on a subject of voodoo, hoodoo. I'm going to get into that because she says that. Because at the time of Marie LaVEAU, in her time, there would not have been much of a distinction between New Orleans voodoo and hoodoo. So she uses it interchangeably. So going forward, that's how I'm going to reference it too. It's hard for me to connect because sometimes in the past I purchased books like this and the authors were just, I don't know, just writing some regurgitated nonsense, and they weren't really connected. That's one. Two, because it just read like nonsense. And three, the Christian overtones and undertones and just being laced all through just made it almost impossible for me to really receive any information that I can really do anything with, because I am not a Christian and I don't connect with it. So at this point in my life and in my spirituality, so I can't really, connect with it. So that is not the case. She does talk about it, but she gives you an explanation like mine. My copy is on the way now. Glad to know it's worthwhile purchase. Yeah, there's some good information in here. And it's so folksy. Excuse me, so folksy. And it's just, it's a good book. And you can get through it. If you kind of just sit down and just give yourself the space to read. I love the details, the historical connections. She explains, this is, let me get to it. So, because I've highlighted so many pages in this book, right? So many sections, because I love an author who gives their sources and tells you from what perspective they are writing the book. That is important. So she tells you in here where she's coming from in the introduction, and the sources that she has gathered and then she ends it with along with her own personal, experience as well, when she wrote this books. And then let's get into this. I want to read this section. She says, it looks like a lot of folks nowadays call hoodoo. Let me start that over. Where was I? In the book, documented speak for tradition, commercial release. Okay, I'm going to start this whole paragraph over because it's not going to make sense. In my book, The Magic of Marie LaVEAU, I documented a specific tradition that emerged from Louisiana voodoo that I call LAVEAU voodoo. A variation of New Orleans voodoo, LAVEAU voodoo, is the style of Louisiana voodoo practiced by, I know there's a lot of words, Marie LaVEAU. It looks a lot like what folks nowadays call hoodoo, but it has a distinctly Catholic flavor with a touch of performance art for good measure. Candles, incense, baptisms, holy water, crucifixes, altars, flowers, and petitioning the saints are found in both Catholic rites and Marie LaVEAU's voodoo rituals. And then she goes on about Louisiana voodoo is an umbrella term for several forms of voodoo in Louisiana. It refers to folk religion more likely to be practiced by individual or families than by communities. Do you understand that a lot of people don't understand that? Like, I know this because I'm in different spaces, specifically on the internet. I want to say TikTok specifically. I think anyway, I can tell by when you're scrolling and I'll stop because I see someone and you might be saying something I want to hear. And a lot of those someones don't understand that it's a folk. I wouldn't even say religion, but I understand the context of what she's trying to say. Um, the communal aspect of voodoo is observed in New Orleans, where public ceremonies, dances, drum circles, baptisms, and other events occur. Um, let's get into it further. A young religion that emerged from the transatlantic slave trade, New Orleans voodoo developed throughout the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries in Louisiana. Its foundational structure is identical to West African voodoo in important ways. It is a matriarchal tradition whereby women dominate the clergy. And though it may be the wild child, of her words, of the African voodoo, it is no less legitimate or complex. I know what you mean when it reads like a high school English report with information you can find online yourself is disappointing. Very much so. There is a very popular review I did of a book. I don't remember the name of it. And to this day, I still get comments. It's been years. People still comment. There's like a back and forth section. It'll just I'll randomly get an alert about a comment from that video because people it's an interesting conversation. I'll just say about this. One, about the book. She even talks at one point in another chapter about whether or not you can learn hoodoo, voodoo. Remember, we're interchangeably using these words through books. And she said, kind of what I say, a lot of people are going to tell you you can't learn it through a book. Somebody needs to show you. Well, okay, so what if I can't find nobody? What if I'm not around anybody? So I just don't, and I feel a connection, and I feel a legitimate draw to this. So I guess I just don't learn, right? No, and I agree with her on that. I mean, the quality of the book matters, but that doesn't mean you can't learn through a book. And as someone who's keeping a grimoire, a book to go back to and to maybe potentially pass on to someone else to read, to learn, how are you I don't know. I think sometimes people are I think some people don't like literacy. I'm starting to see that. And it's not necessarily people in my age group. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just seeing something where a lot of people don't want to read. They don't want to read. They want you to tell them. And there's the people who want to be the ones to tell you, and because they want to keep you captive. And I get that because there's money involved. I do understand that, but you can develop a foundation and a baseline through books. I do believe that's true. This is a really good book, I would say. I learned quite a few things in here. This will be I think this is a great book where you can learn. You can definitely learn. And the way the books read, it's simple to understand, but it's not too simple. Not at all. And she's very open to the fact that you might not be a Christian reading this book. She references that at one point, and I do appreciate that. But she gives you a breakdown of what Louisiana voodoo is. And then I like this explanation where she breaks down in New Orleans voodoo, the voodoo are referred to as spirits. These spirits exist on a hierarchy of 3 levels. Now this I knew, but it was good to refresh. At the top is what they call the good god, or Bandu. Below are powerful intermediary spirits known as the Loas, right? You probably know that, or Rishas, and the ancestors. And the third are the saints, angels, spirit guides, regional and familial spirits, and revered cultural heroes are acknowledged. So, and ancestor reverence is the most important aspect of all forms of voodoo. People don't. Hi, Sophia Bringslight. I agree. I think people don't like the information provided in the book. The class that goes with it is good too. There's a class that goes, yes, there is. I do know because I went to the website. Yes, it's hard in these hoodoo streets. You have to read and study as well as practice. You have to do it on your own. If you don't have elders to teach you, you do. And that's the unfortunate part. The fortunate side is that we now have a way of connecting like this, whether it's here on YouTube or, you know, if you TikTok, Instagram, whatever you're into. But there are now places online. We have the online platforms, even if it's going to a website and they have their own, you know, thing going on platform, where you can have virtual classes and someone who is knowledgeable can teach you. So we at least have that, right? You just have to do the homework and make sure the person you're learning from knows what they're talking about. This is what I wanted to tell. She said, New Orleans voodoo and hoodoo are closely related. Hoodoo, conjure, and root work are all terms used in the grimoire, she says that, are folk magic traditions that grew from the same conditions as voodoo. Each tradition is a resistance response to the harsh realities of slavery and the oppression experiencing following emancipation. So let's talk about it. So if I'm this, right, and I agree with that meaning, that definition. So we're gonna have a hard conversation on this here summer solstice, and we're gonna do it with respect and love. So knowing where it's coming from. I went to New Orleans, I want to say, what was that? I think it was 2017, 2018. That's the first and last time I've been. I plan to go back again. I did not go with a witchy person, but I'm a witch, so I encountered some witchy activity because I was seeking it out to the best of my ability. I didn't go to the like tourist spots or stuff like that. Like I was trying to pick up certain energies when I walked in certain spaces and buildings and things like that. But anyway, excuse me, allergies. This is actually better. I was worse. When I walked around, when I go into the stores, you know, because I was on the main, you know, the main strip. You go into different hoodoo shops, and then off and about. All I saw was not black faces. Advertisement for certain services, that wasn't no black face. Now, this has been a question, and I'm out. Let's talk about it. Me personally, I said this before, and I don't mind saying this. I would not be going to a European person of this European descent, of majority European descent, because Marie LaVEAU was actually mixed, by the way. But I would not go to someone who majority of their ancestry is of European descent for New Orleans voodoo. I wouldn't. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable. I'm not saying they can't practice and connect. I'm not saying they weren't called. I'm saying I personally would not go to you. Because let's read this sentence again. Each tradition is a resistance response to the harsh realities of slavery and the oppression experienced following emancipation. So and ancestry reverence is a big part of it. So what? Do they have a long line of ancestors who, especially if you are there, I'm assuming you got some family in this country, in America, that came here at some point. So were they pro-slavery? Are you able to confirm that the ancestors that you are connecting with were anti-slavery or not slave owners themselves, or benefited from slavery or renounced slavery? Like, do you know that? Do you know the details of that? I just don't understand how, like, that blows my mind sometimes. Those ancestors are European hoodoo voodoo practitioners calling. Who's working on their behalf? Make it make sense. When you say, so me, a Black American person, saying this really does offend a lot of people. I've been in spaces where you talk like this and they're like, no, 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 you don't understand. It's okay. I've gotten into disagreements with other Black American people about this. And I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all because I know why and where that comes from. I know about cognitive dissonance, and that's what that is. It is a mental issue that a lot of us Black Americans have. And there is something odd about it. I don't think it's okay. I think it's actually disrespectful. I don't care how much you're called. I would never personally seek your services out. I would not seek your knowledge out. If you have an interest, if you feel there's a connection, I don't see anything wrong with you learning, with you in your home by yourself, exploring and learning, as most of us do, right? Norse mythology. I wanted to understand more, and I wanted to see if there was a connection for me there, and to what extent. Especially when I first got introduced to paganism through Wicca. So I understand that, right? There's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with even practicing what you've learned. I don't think that's a bad thing. But this is not for everybody. It was born out of something that is connected to a group of people. If you are not in that group of people, and don't come to me with no 1 or 2%, you got some African in you. Don't do that. Don't do that. That doesn't count. This doesn't apply to you. Not enough for you to be going around owning stores and educating people on this. No, that's not your place. There is nothing wrong with wanting to understand and wanting to learn. There is everything wrong with appropriating, and then got the nerve to ask somebody like me to pay you. Oh, anyway, so let's just say my gases were flabbered. Like, I was upset. I was upset with that. So I just want to start right there in case anybody said, well, what do you think somebody who is non-Black or, or doesn't of African descent or Black American, do you think? No, I don't think they should. I think they should look into it and they should read and learn. You can buy the book too and glean some knowledge and maybe add things to your practice that makes sense. But I don't think you should be writing this book like this, and I don't think you should be selling it to people. And I definitely don't think you should be in a position where you are in a position of authority. I don't think you should be doing that and asking for money for services, and I don't care who you are. I don't agree with that. It's not about race, and first of all, I can't be racist because I hold no power over white people. So let's start that there. That's not racist. You could say prejudiced. You could say bias. You could say that. But these are rational biases. Rational. They're not irrational. Racism is irrational. It's irrational, but the effects of it are, horrific. And the people, I guess, who are racist, they find it rational. But it's when you really think about it, it's an irrational thought process. I think it's a mental illness personally. And just like we understand trauma could be passed down in DNA, because there's always this conversation that racism has to be taught. You have to learn it. You're not instinctively born like, oh, look at babies, they play with everybody. But no one's talking about that window where you can affect them. There's a short window. Prime example, because we won't take this to another place. I spent time with family. I was around a 5-year-old, soon to be 6 in a couple months, a little girl. She, as 5-year-olds do, just make these grand statements that no one asked, was unprompted, that only women can wear dresses. There was no prior conversation. I don't know if she had looked at something. I don't know where that came from. She just said it out loud to the room. And she wanted her mother to confirm this. She said it loud, and then she said it again like, right, mommy? And her mom is like, yes, women, listen to how women wear dresses. Yes, women can wear dresses. Women wear dresses. Like, because what do you want, fight her? Like, I mean, we can make this a teaching opportunity, but it was like a room with other people. There was other conversations going on. That's a later conversation. So just say women, not Yeah, women wear dresses. That was how she wrapped it up with that when it got off of that. Um, when I think about, and that kind of, that was a whole separate thing that resonated with me. I really thought about, when I think about that, I'm trying to make, because I wanted, actually, that's going to be a video idea. I want to talk about LGBTQ, spirituality, and all that stuff. So I kind of, as soon as I brought that, all those thoughts came in my head, and I'm losing my original thought that I brought this up for. But when I think about that, and I think about as far as basically, and when I say, I guess I got so many thoughts going in my head. When I say, I mean white people practicing this, because I think I said people, not black, because people who typically are, I guess, under the they don't like Latinx, but Latino, or Spanish speaking people. So like, and other people think Haitians aren't black. They usually have some and African ancestry in their DNA. I lost my point. I'm gonna come back to it. They usually have that in their DNA, so their practice. So like I said, white people basically, you're of European descent, right? Majority, because I technically am 25% of European descent, so I said majority for that reason. I am searching for my point. Gosh, curse this perimenopausal thing. Do you know what it's like to have so much information in your head that you can't recall it immediately? That is aging, by the way, and it is so effing annoying because it was right there and I wanted to make a larger point, but now I can't remember what I was saying, so I'm gonna go to the comments. Yes, great points. I so agree. I see nothing wrong with seeking knowledge about hoodoo and voodoo. I have a problem with your charge for services or call yourself an expert. I was going somewhere with that. Yeah, I'm a dark-skinned Black American witch. If I put on a red wig and started calling myself a daughter of, was it Rhiannon? Yeah, and start selling runes and shit, I look like a fool, just like they do with head wraps. That was what sent me when I was there. You walking around with your beautiful, listen, we're all beautiful people. You know, we're individuals, we're different, and there's beauty and diversity. What I think is a mental illness. I do. And that's a large leap. I understand that. Leap taken. That's a big leap. But I do think I think there is a mental illness. Also, just from a social construct type thing, whiteness in this country, there's an argument if there's such thing as white culture. And I was listening to a woman video. She was from the Ukraine, and she was born and raised, young white woman, here we go, from the Ukraine, came to America with her parents, and she was at a conservative Christian church, and she had a lot of interactions with white Americans. And her takeaway from that experience, she had a larger point about white women, in this country, but she noticed that the culture is devoid of culture intentionally, meaning when she was making a large point about white women on basically this niceness, there's rage because we're humans and we all feel it, but as they present out, it's always like this, contained range, like they never, this niceness that's not real. And I do believe that's a thing. Does it mean that every white person walking around, I have very good friends that are white. So no, I don't feel like it's a thing where all white people do exhibit this. Just like mental illness for anything else and things that are passed down in the DNA, trauma, things like that, you can overcome it. You don't have to stay there. So I do think there are people of European descent here who are able to overcome that. They face it and they move on. But I do think there is something there that is being passed down in the DNA. And whether or not it can be proven, well, who's going to do the study? Because we know in most studies are usually done by universities and things like that. And most people who are running that are of majority European descent. Why would they want to look into that? Unless we get one of the more evolved ones who are willing to do the work. But I imagine there's going to be a lot of people who want to block it, because if trauma is being passed down, what does that look like for white people here? The concept of whiteness is not even real, by the way, because a woman from the Ukraine who looks like she's European was talking about this, and she was isolating these group of people who are also of European descent and basically saying they not like us, her like her people, we not the same. She's noticing a difference with that, the way that they are here in this country. So it bothers me the more that I'm seeing that. It does bother me because but on the flip side, it bothers me that we have Black Americans, or even somebody sitting over in another country in Haiti and things like that, who have a spiritual house, and these are for like in Ifa and things like that, who they want you to pay them large sums of money to basically for membership into the religion. I don't like that either. I run a mentorship program to help you build a magical lifestyle, something that sticks, a tradition, so that you have something to maintain going forward and you can add to it, but basically help you develop a foundation. I don't think I charge something that's not attainable for some. I offer payment plans. If you didn't know, I have a firm. You can go there. You ain't got to pay it all at once. I have a firm on my website. So I'm equal opportunity. You can break that into payments. But I offer other services that are not as expensive. If you want to start at, it's like, I don't know if I want to commit to a mentorship. Hey, can you just help me with this? I offer that as well. That is much more manageable. And I don't even remember how much, I can't remember the price right now, but it's not exorbitant at all. Because I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. Now, it is an exchange of energy because I'm giving you experience and knowledge. So money has a currency, is an energy assigned to money. So you are getting something valuable and you're giving me something valuable for that. So I think the exchange is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when people are charging like well over $1,000 or thousands of dollars for stuff. Now imagine you want to learn this and you want to practice voodoo specifically. You need to be initiated, and they want thousands of dollars. And the person asking for you this got blue eyes, blonde hair, and this white rag wrapped on their head. Imagine that. Think about that. How do you feel about that? I don't care how much knowledge you got. I'm not giving you this money. You need to be giving this to me for free. If you're going to you know what would impress me? If it was someone who looked like that, who was doing it for free. Then you might have me. I might take a little gander, but like, oh, it's like, let's not gain all this knowledge. But I feel like it's your birthright to have this information for free. So I'm doing consultations for free. I'm offering it for free because y'all need to keep this legacy going. You need to keep this information going. I've been fortunate enough, even though I'm not Black and of African descent, but I've gained this information. I want to give it to you for free. Now that'd be an interesting situation, but you don't see that. Anyway, back to the book. Sorry for my tangent. And I lost my point. If I can remember, I swear I'm gonna come back to this comment because I wanted to get back to that, what that little girl said. Anyway, so she breaks this down in such a great way. I want to get to this section of how she breaks this down a little bit further. And she does says the initiation is not required. There is a point, she actually says that in this book. So how is the book broken down? So there's 15 chapters. There's the introduction, and then she goes into Materia Magica. Chapter 2 is Beauty Formulas. Great chapter. Chapter 3, the best times for conjuring. She emphasizes it's not really big in voodoo hoodoo to necessarily, have times associated with what you would like in Wicca and other witchcraft practices. It's not a necessary thing, but you can definitely do that. Sorry, I gotta calm my phone down. Why? Do I forget every time? Yes. Anyway, but she gets into, I love that chapter. Also, chapter 4, caring for your ritual items. The detail in that chapter about caring for it. Also, she kind of, when I read that chapter, I realized I've been having a really backwards idea about the cleaning aspect that's associated with hoodoo. And I thought there was a lot of overkill. These were my personal opinions based on just what I've experienced and people who say they're hoodoo practitioners. And it could be my interpretation or just the people I was listening to, maybe how they were interpreting it, or how they were explaining it to me. But I just had this wild idea that there was this like it was the cleaning Olympics with them or something. But the way she explains, I was like, oh, that's what all these people were trying to say all this time. It had nothing to do with cleaning Olympics, like, oh, you gotta clean this has to be clean. No, she explained, I mean, from a practicing witch, a cottage witch, cleaning my home is very important. Not having clutter and dust, because there's some spiritual stuff that's attached to that. So I understand that, but it was the details that she talked about, cleaning certain, like your altar tools and things like that, and why you would use a specific detergent and things like that. The way she broke it down, it clicked in my head. Chapter 6 is Creole Cures and Remedies. That's a good one. Chapter 7, Incense. Love that. Love Magic, Chapter 8. Magic Dust and Sachet Powders is Chapter 9. And then Magical Household, Chapter 10. Love that, of course. Conjure Oils and Spiritual Waters. And then Uncrossing and Protection. Loved the practical information in that section. Voodoos, Charms, Grigri, Mojo, and Wanga. We'll get into that. Chapter 14, seven folk rites of LAVEAU voodoo, and the last chapter, Sage Advice and Marvelous Secrets. I'm going to jump ahead and talk about the chapter 15, Secrets, where she talked about you need to keep some things secret. So practitioners, and she even talked about people like me who are online and I talk about witchcraft. You can't give everything away. You can't tell. One, because it's Marie LaVeaux. This woman, a lot of people didn't like that she made money off of hoodoo, by the way. A lot of people didn't like that she turned New Orleans into like a tourist place for those seeking, hoodoo, something under the umbrella of hoodoo. A lot of people actually don't like that. But whether you're someone who are making, profiting, making money, selling services, whatever your deal is, you can't tell everything. And this is very true. I don't tell everything. I'm here, I share parts of my practice, I share parts of my ideas, philosophies, but I never give you everything. And she talked about that. So now from a witchcraft perspective, you can't do that because people will one of the reasons, even if you're practicing voodoo, you, the viewer, somebody out there sees this and, they get mad. Someone is mad that I'm showing, a haul, and they're a little pissed off and they, she's been too, why is she doing all this sort of stuff? There's someone who just look at me and they just mad at me because who I am and what I look like, and for whatever reason. There's some people who just don't like that I might seem knowledgeable. There are a lot of people, they don't like that you know stuff. So they're sending energy toward me. Do you really think I'm gonna let them know everything? So we're talking like if I'm talking about protection, how I protect my house, ways of protecting yourself or something like that. Do you really think I'm going to tell y'all everything? Do you think I'm going to tell you every ingredient, everything? There's always something else I'm doing. There's always other words I'm saying. There's always one more little layer, if not several other layers that's going on. I'm never going to share everything because it would not be in my best interest to do so. And she wraps up this book with that. And I think it's very important. You said I don't share shit outside of my company. Exactly. In public spaces, you can never share everything. I do wonder sometimes if everyone is understanding this knowledge. I know a good amount of people who are for real into practicing, what practitioners, they understand that. But I do wonder sometimes about people that I come across, especially on lives, if you follow some people, they'll be doing things on their lives. But TikTok, I see this more. And then, like, you'll see them again, and they're like, remember when I did that spell? Yeah, they didn't do anything. Like, what you saw is what happened. That's it. Now, there are things I could do something like that, But nah, I still would do grimoire. There's still some you didn't see. Even if I did a live and I did all that, you would never know all the details. There was still one other thing that I did, or I went back on the back end and I did something else, or I did something beforehand. I have what I like to call booster spells. I'm a spells on spells on spells type of witch, so there's going to be some other layers that you never saw that I didn't talk about. But that's me. That's what I'm always going to do. But let's get into some of these chapters a little bit. So chapter 1, if you are a conjure worker or witch seeking magical supplies today, you will find yourself bombarded with all sorts of covetable occult paraphernalia online. I highlighted this for a reason. Listen, that said, I have yet to meet a conjure worker or witch who regrets having to procure all the herbs, curios, and pretties necessary for their spellcraft. All of these things create the ambiance, atmosphere, and energies we love and crave. But of course, there is more to magic than fancy ritual accoutrements. Now, here's the thing, because I talk about this. Can you practice any of this stuff, any of the magic? Can you practice this without having all the things? Of course you can. But isn't it more fun? Isn't it fun having the things around you and the candles and the tarot cards and the crystals and the incense and whatever else and the statues and the altars with all sorts of stuff on it? Isn't it more fun? Doesn't it do something for your mind to connect to that and your spirit and your emotions, and it just feels more real? So therefore, if it looks, your brain, you're telling your brain, oh, we could accept this as real, then you can actually connect to the spirit realm. Doesn't that work for y'all? I don't know, that's how I see it. So I like that she said that, because that's how I see it too. Do you have to have all the things? No, but maybe you want to get some of the things, right? So she jumps into a bunch of ritual tools that you would use, essential tools, of the trade to be an effective conjure worker in the LAVEAU voodoo tradition. Bells and rattles. I'm someone who likes bells, and she talks about the different way you would use like a bell or rattle. I know within my coven or rituals, I use a bell there, and usually it's to signify. You can use bells if you don't want to do smoke cleanse and things like that in your house. You can use bells to kind of break up the vibration. Some may go ahead and ring some bells and some rattles around your home. It's that vibration. It releases stagnant energy and things like that. The beginning and end of a ritual. So for me, I know we'll chant and I'll ring the bell at the end that's the end. So it's like clearing out that vibration. We're ready to begin the ritual, that type thing. So then books, she talks about books. Witches and conjure workers have historically kept written accounts of their workings in their book of shadows and personal grimoires. Next to oral tradition, it is the primary way to preserve and pass down a magical practice. Over the years, I have witnessed a lot of downplaying on the internet for people seeking knowledge about voodoo and hoodoo via books. Remember I told you? Which makes no sense whatsoever. While I agree there is no replacing in-person learning from a teacher, only some have access to such experiences, and while you can't be initiated into anything via a book, books are the next best thing to personal experience for gaining access to knowledge of the occult mysteries. Then she has a section, a book of shadows as an essential tool. I highly recommend keeping a book of shadows to record your experiences, rituals, and formulas. And this is one of the main reasons. I'll read it. She says, I cannot tell you how often I neglected to write down a recipe only to need it later. This would be me. Especially now that I'm getting wiser. We're not saying older, wiser. This is me. I lost my point. I'm still trying to grab it from earlier. When you are getting like that, you need to write things down. And if you are listen, you don't have to be my age. If you got kids, because mom brain is real. Mommy brain is a very real thing. If you have children or you are caring for children, you need to be writing things down, because there's no way. They take your brain power. So you need to be writing things down. Keep a book of shadows. And then she, okay, now here we go. Y'all ready? This section. One of the essential tools is the Holy Bible. Y'all ready? Okay. One book is considered essential to most root workers. The language in this book is everything. Most root workers, because everybody don't agree with this. The Bible. Hold on, my pagan, non-Catholic, non-Christian readers. It's not what you think. Conjure workers are not Bible-thumping preachers. Thank you. Shouting from a soapbox on a street corner. At least most of us aren't. Again, thank you, because some of them are. Though some practitioners profess hoodoo is not hoodoo without the Bible, I've been told that, which sounds no different than modern-day evangelical Christians, to be honest. My thoughts exactly. While many practitioners are indeed Christians, the Bible is used as a sacred talisman, okay? Verses from the Bible are invocations, psalms are sacred incantations, and pages torn from the Bible are used in spells. In addition, the bibliomancy, using the Bible, is the common form of divination. Now, she goes on. There's a lot more in here. You know, I'm building my own Bible. I'm building my own. I have built my own Bible. That I use. It's a series of books, just like the Bible is a series of books, right? It's a bunch of books. So that's what my grimoires and book of shadows are. It's my own Bible. I don't need my legacy book of shadows. I would like it. Like, I will put things like the 13 rules, of witchcraft, tenets to live by, kind of like, that other stuff. Daily magical living, ways of gratitude, what to do when you're sick, what to do, who or what to call on, how to access your own power, how to access your own abilities to heal yourself. And if you want to call on other energies, how to do that sort of thing. I'd rather reference my own and build my own than use the Bible. I don't want to. I don't think it's necessary at this stage. I think I'm acquired enough knowledge. I don't need to do that. I don't want anything to do with it, especially since it's been tampered with on a level that we think we understand, but to an extent we probably really don't. In 2024, just how much it's been tampered with. So whatever the original information would have been, it has been, and then it's been reinterpreted, interpreted, and reinterpreted. Look, do as you will. Anyway, I think you'd be better making your own Bible. Maybe you can go through your Bible. You know what would be an interesting activity for someone who is struggling with this, who has their feelings, who has done deconstructing of their Christianity and spirituality and things like that. The things that you hold dear about the Bible, why don't you start doing like your own annotations to eventually create your own? So take that information and make it your own. Summarize it. Some things might be a direct quote, but start putting that information and creating your own Bible for yourself and for your practice. I think that would be a great activity. Now, that's not something I feel like I need to do because it's not necessary for me to use it. But if anyone is, that would be and that's going to be a project. That's something you're going to be doing for some time. That's not something you do one and done. Really, it's an opportunity if you still have this connection to it, but you're practicing witchcraft or something like that, and you no longer really want to use it, but you have no idea how to separate that, and you feel still connected to it, but you don't really want to keep using it. Why not go through the Bible, like from beginning to end, make your annotations in a separate book, and build something from that? I'm just saying. Candles, cauldron, charcoal brazier. First I didn't know what that was, but it's like iron cauldrons or like metal pots. These are the tools. Doll babies, y'all know about that. Incense, and then kitchen herbs and spices. She lists a bunch of them. Miniature coffins, yeah. Oil lamps, perfumes, colognes, spiritual waters. She gives perfume and cologne, a whole list of that if you're interested. So this is a really good book to get some additional information about that. Petition paper, words, thoughts, and intentions. Beauty formulas. Chapter 2, and there's a little quote at the top. This is from Mrs. Marie Didi, or Didi, of 1939. Marie LAVEAU was a mulatto with fine features. she was certainly a good-looking woman. That is, she must have been pretty. Must have been pretty. She could see it from her features, or you could see it from your features. I don't know why I'm struggling. Even though she was growing old, you could see she took good care of herself. And so the author says it's only fitting that she's going to talk about beauty because this woman was known to be beautiful. And she, according to legend, Marie LAVEAU owned a beauty parlor on Royal Street near St. Louis Cathedral. Or St. Louis Cathedral. When she needed a lock of hair tied with a red ribbon to dominate a lover for a client, she had little problem getting it. As a beautician, she had the trust of her clients that could easily acquire such powerful items for her spellcraft. And it gives a little explanation, and it goes into a host of different recipes. So we have like dry perfumes, hair treatments like banana hair mask for dry hair, warm oil treatment for dry hair, which is a very common thing, at least was in my household. Egg wash for brittle hair. I remember my friend's grandma used to she was big on the egg wash thing. Tips to fix a flaky scalp, general tips for health of hair, and then skincare, calendula and plantain ointment for dry skin, cold cream, easy rose lotion, ointment for rough hands, and to remove wrinkles. Let's talk about that one. To reduce the appearance of wrinkles, mix 1 ounce of melted beeswax, 2 ounces of honey, a ½ ounce of rose water, and a drop of 2 attar of roses, and blend well. Use twice daily. All right. And then chapter 3 is about the best times for conjuring. I kind of summarized that a little bit. It's not like it's a thing, but she breaks down like the days of the week, phases of the moon, sunrise, sunset, that type thing. Chapter 4, caring for your ritual items. You need to take care of your ritual items so they can take care of you. They are your partners in magic. I like that. And when you ignore and neglect them, you have no one to blame but yourself when your magic is weak and ineffective. Ignoring and neglecting your tools is ignoring and neglecting your power. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I've experienced that. So I know she ain't wrong. This is important. This is important. The cleanliness of your altar reflects your attitude toward your spiritual well-being and your relationship with the spirits you serve. A dusty, cluttered altar with no rhyme or reason can have an impact on how things manifest or fail to manifest for you. Some spirits will ignore you if your altar space is filthy. Do you know that's a controversial thing? A lot of people don't want you saying that. They don't want you telling them that. They don't want to hear that. Because I truly believe there's a group of people who want to live in filth. And that sounds harsh, but I have come across too many places on the internet where people are trying to normalize filth. Not clutter, not a couple dust bunnies here and there, but filth. And yes, some of them are practitioners. No, clean up your altar space. It doesn't mean that it stays neat and clean all the time. Because I can look over there, it's about time for another dusting. It's not dust. I don't have dust bunnies because I do keep it together. But I can run a little duster over there, which I will on my altar table. Run the vacuum because it's a whole altar space for me, my working altar. Run the vacuum and, just keep the space, refresh it up a little bit. And it's okay that it gets there, but I don't think you can't let it stay like that. Now, if I'm sick, which sometimes I haven't been well, I can't get to it. The spirits know that. They know you're sick. They know you're going through it. So no, you're probably not going to the altar if you're sick anyway. And they understand that. We're not talking if you're not able. We're talking if you're able and you're just leaving it like that. That's trifling. And then she addresses something else. So this was something to say to me because I got a lot of altars in my home. Some practitioners believe that the more altars you have, the better witch or conjure worker you are. I don't believe that. I just got a problem. Anyway, there was a point in my life when I was totally guilty of this. I had over 20 altars in my home. After a while, the spirits informed me that was not how any of this worked. In voodoo, we don't need a separate altar for each spirit. All you really need is one altar for your spiritual court and another for your ancestors. So that is something I've thought about because after a while it could get crazy. You can have a lot of altars. Now I have a kitchen altar for Hestia. This is a more recent addition to my home. I have an Oshun altar. I don't talk a lot about that because that's my business and I'm gonna keep it that way. I have a beauty altar and then a beauty altar to Yamaya. I have a Hecate altar. This is all my working altar. I have a Fae altar. I have an ancestor altar, a money magic altar, a goddess altar, just overall. I have a, well, I don't know if I've given it a name. I just think it's more like a, like the home altar. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's, I've been given a name, but that's kind of how I see it. And I know I'm skipping one. I know I'm forgetting it. Oh, a Persephone altar. So the fact that I can't remember should tell you everything right there. So I do have a lot. At this point, anything else, I'll probably just be at my working altar space and just commune with them there. I don't know if I would set up another one because it can get out of control. 20 altars is a lot. I'm not too far off at the rate I'm going. She gives you helpful hints about maintaining the altar. Like, for instance, if you have food that you put out, throw away after 3 days. Change fresh flowers weekly. Always keep a glass of water on your altar for spirits and refresh it weekly. Don't let it evaporate completely. I have been guilty of doing this. Life be lifing, and sometimes I forgot on my ancestor altar. And I'm always by the way, when I work with my ancestor altar and I'm refreshing the water, I'm speaking the way I'm talking to these ancestors. I'm like, I am so sorry, y'all. Please forgive me. This is me walking around with the glass going over to the sink. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have let this happen. I am so sorry. Let me clean y'all up. I'm gonna give you some fresh water. I'm speaking this out loud. I'm gonna give you some fresh water. We're gonna dust this space off, and please accept this offering. Y'all know my heart. I make jokes. Like, this is who I am. This is as a witch. This is what me, working at the altar. It don't have to be serious all the time. I think it's good because we're not always serious and they aren't either. You don't think spirits and ancestors have a sense of humor? It sure do seem like it. And then lastly, treat your body like the temple that it is. Don't approach your altar when you are covered in filth and dirt. Again, for people who want to just revel in disgustingness, because I do believe, I'm seeing that there's some people who just don't want to believe that it's necessary. Cleanliness is part of spirituality, but it is. Take the time to bathe first and approach your altar with reverence. That doesn't mean you have to freshly be showered every time you go to your altar, because realistically, that's just not possible. But she said covered in filth. Like, if I was outside, I'm, doing some stuff outside, I'm sweaty, if I was, moving stuff around, I got visible dirt on my skin. Like, that's not a great time to go sit at the altar. Like, let me go refresh. Let me get this off me and then come here a little bit more respectfully. I don't think that's odd. I don't think that's weird. Now, if I'm doing something in nature and I'm outside, let's say it's a camping thing or something like that. Like, prime example, I was in Sedona, although I was still, but let's say for some reason I was camping, and part of it was a ritual that I was doing, and I set up a working altar, and I've been outside in the elements. That's different. But if it's in my home, why am I dirty and going, I don't know. Y'all know what I mean. All right, so she goes on. There's a lot more to that chapter. There's so much here, y'all. She even has a note on indigenous practice of smudging, and it does align with my thoughts on it as well. But she has a little bit more to say about it than you normally see that blanket statement in other people's books. I like what she said. Magic, dust, sachet powers. Let me see. What was the other thing that I want to talk about? Yeah, this was in the section of the magical household. This, by the way, is supposed to be, it says it's unknown illustrator, but supposedly this is supposed to be what her house looked like, Marie Laveau. This is an illustration of that if you were curious. So there are illustrations in this book as well. A magical household implies a happy and harmonious sacred space of your own creation. That is me. I understand that. She talks about cultivating happiness. A happy home begins with a whole mood. I agree. Are you going to be that way all the time? No. But in my practice, you can pull on the energy of the home for times maybe you're not feeling like that. So there's this reciprocal experience that I'm having here as a cottage witch. And then she goes on, let me see here. Aside from the works of mercy, what was the secret to Marie Laveau's success and happiness? We can glean a few things from her life that we can emulate and apply to our own. First, she had a strong sense of purpose. Secondly, she embraced her Creole identity, and there's more about this. I'm just going to give you the highlights. Finally, it would appear that she had a healthy balance between work and play. Don't take things so seriously. And she notes, of course, we will never know precisely what Marie Laveau thought or how she felt. Still, we can absolutely admire her achievement and legacy. And then when your core belief system changes to reflect a positive reality, there is a space for joy to grow. I love that. I love that so much. Joy is not out of reach. It's something we should try and attain daily. I agree. Yeah, then there's recipes for Marie Laveau's peace water, a peaceful home simmer. I read this, but I do this. It's cinnamon sticks, orange peels, and she uses oak bark, but I don't use that. But I almost always do like cinnamon sticks, orange, and maybe lemon. That's what I do too, and a couple of herbs in there too. The Rose of Jericho, there's some illustration here, and she talks about that. The Rose of Jericho is perceived as magical and miraculous and has found its place within a hoodoo tradition. It's believed to bring peace, power, and abundance to the home. Conjure oils and spiritual waters is a really good section. There's a lot of recipes on here. Florida water, come on, of course that's in here. Uncrossing and protection. Ooh. The belief in the concept of crossings is a core psychological component of African American folk magic, indigenous spiritual systems, and European-based witchcraft. In each of these traditions, the effects are the same, but the causal effects are labeled differently. In African-derived traditions such as voodoo, hoodoo, and conjure, for example, to be crossed is to have something bad put on you by an external supernatural force. To be cursed is typically believed to result from witchcraft in Native American cosmologies. In European witchcraft, to be crossed is to be hexed, right? Just the suggestion of being crossed is enough to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, if you believe things will go wrong, they often will. I've seen a lot of that. In fact, people often cross themselves due to their mindsets and attitudes about the challenges they face in life. Be careful what you say. In my work, working with someone very recently, they have a habit of saying things like, and you hear this type of language, they said, it's like something always goes wrong. It's like, you set things up a certain way and there's always something. It's always something. Listen to what I'm saying. There's always something. I already know whatever I get in life, I'm gonna have to work hard for it. Nothing is given to me. People say that. Those are damning words. Those are damning, especially if you don't really want that to be your reality. You don't just say it. We got people, they believe that. That's like core beliefs for a lot of people. And, you know, if it ain't one thing, it's another. You hear people say that. And I understand where that comes from. I know why people say it, because, you know, their reality seems to show that. But maybe that's why. If you believe it, it is. Well, we know that, you know, manifesting works. There was that government report that was made public, I think back in 2020, I think it was. It was the one where people say aliens are real. And it was in the report. But manifesting really works. Your thoughts do have an impact on your reality. And perception, all of that is tied together. So it does matter what you think. It does matter what you say. Words are spells. If you're watching this, you probably believe that. So constantly say, and then adding the word always, you're like putting a pin in it. This is what it is. And okay, you said it. I like to say things when someone else is saying that, I don't say it out loud because I'm an a-hole, but in my head, I'm saying, if that's what you think, but that's not my reality. Whatever I want comes to me. I'm literally denouncing what they're saying, or rebuking, if you want to go with that, rebuking, because if I agree, I'm agreeing. We doing the spell together. So I don't want to agree, but I'm also respecting, because everybody, you can't, you got to be careful. Some people, you got to meet them where they at. And if they're not ready to hear that, they just going to argue with you. Well, that's what it is, though. That's what it is. I've done this X, Y, Z, and this happens. It doesn't matter what I do, and they'll argue with you. So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to let you say what you feel like you need to say. But I'm also not going to receive that information. I'm not going to be in agreement with you, because that's not true. Not for me. And then there's some floor washes in here and stuff like that. Red brick floor wash. To stop evil from entering your home, the seal of the precious blood. So there's some good stuff in here, by the way. Voodoo's charms, Grigri, Mojo, and Wanga. Charm making is a primary activity of the voodoo conjure doctor. And there's some information on here. And there's a great explanation on Grigri and to explain it. Grigri is a complete magical system originating in Senegambia that was brought to New Orleans when enslaved Senegambians with them. Senegambians comprised the largest population from Africa to be transplanted to New Orleans during the transatlantic slave trade. Grigri was a tool of resistance and employed poisons, charm warders, bullets, and body guards worn by the enslaved in battles. It served to empower the oppressed, and its use was quite effective. Many enslaved individuals successfully poisoned their masters using Grigri during various insurrections. Grigri was so effective that it was outlawed, making it illegal to practice. Well, well, well. Mojo, on the other hand, is found in hoodoo. Mojo bags or hands are small flannel or leather bags filled with a wide variety of animal, mineral, and plant materials, along with seals, metal talismans, and saint metals. And then there's the Wanga, and that's Ounga, and or spelled Wanga, refers to voodoo magic. It is also a charm derived from voodoo. It is differentiated from Grigri and Mojo in its creation and preparation. Wangas are typically dedicated to a particular voodoo spirit. So I didn't know that. So that was good information to learn. In Marie Laveau's day, you could be arrested and sued if you were a conjure worker or a voodooist who sold charms and your charms didn't work. Wouldn't that be interesting today? I think, well, what we have today, instead of getting arrested, we have reviews. Now, I do remember, and this is some years ago, and this is a very popular person here on YouTube, and they've recently got on TikTok as well. And I remember I don't remember where the review was. I don't know where. it wasn't Yelp because that doesn't make any sense, but they wrote a review, not a comment. There was one other place I went to. I went down a rabbit hole. Was it Lipstick Alley? I'm not really somebody who hangs out there, but at the time I wanted to know what people were talking about because they were hating this person that was on YouTube, this content creator. They hate a lot of people. There was like the hate fest over there. And someone mentioned about the reviews. So I followed because I want to know what they were talking about. At this time, that particular YouTube creator was doing work, magical work, spell work. They don't do that no more like that, but they were doing it. And the reviews went crazy. And they were saying how it didn't work. It was a lot of, like, people were saying, I paid this money. And then I know they went in a different direction. But anyway, and they stopped doing spell work. They stopped because I maybe for some people it did work. I don't know, but there were quite a few people who had negative reviews saying that it didn't work. The spell work, it didn't work for them. So I think nowadays we have reviews, so we don't have you don't get arrested, although that would be horrible. And then so there's this wonderful thing here. There's a picture, something called a money packet, using a piece of newspaper from the stock market section on a good day, or job wanted section. Cut out a 4x4 square, add a pinch of cinnamon powder, magnetic sand, 3 cloves, and some basil. Add 3 drops of Van oil and 3 drops of cinnamon oil. Fold the paper over the herbs into a little packet and tie closed with a string. Tie a coin charm to the packet. Place it in your wallet to keep money coming in. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that, now see, this is what I'm talking about. I like stuff like this. I could work with this. I would keep it in my wallet. Let me see what else I want to talk. I got so many highlights. I should have put little stickies on here so I could easily get to the pages. But I did not do that. Oh, if you were curious for something more, the Voodoo Seance. Here at the bottom. So there is a section, and it goes on to several pages on the Voodoo Seance. It's a lot. This is all of it. You're going to need to get the book and read that yourself, but it goes on and on about it. So she tells you, like, don't take this as a joke when you're working with spirits. But if you're interested, there's some instruction on that. The rest is that last section about keeping secrets and things like this. So I've spent a lot of time, because I've been on here for a minute and I still didn't get to the box, but this is a good book, y'all. This is a good one. So if you're interested in wanting to know more about New Orleans style voodoo, specifically, and hoodoo, this is a great book. She writes fairly. She cites her sources. You're aware when you're reading the book what's her experience, what's her opinion, and what's been documented. So you're coming into this not necessarily not understand, like, well, how much is this, did this really happen? Is this really true? And how do we know? She tells you where like I said, from interviews and things like that. She even talked about newspaper articles and things like that were written with a very biased and racist bent to them, and how she learned to decipher and get the real information out of it versus, just the blatant, like, racist way that they wrote about it. So there's that too. So I highly recommend adding that book to your witchy library. That's a good book to have. I thoroughly enjoyed reading. Like I said, I read it in one day because it was so good. I'm going to go over this witch casket box. This is my second box that I've received. It's June. And the theme is potions. It's potions. I will tell you right now, I like this. I am a fan of this subscription box service. I love it. I love getting this book, and it's like colorful and themed, and it's nice. I'm gonna have to get ready to get off because I'm already talking so much. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. Potion bottle die cut sticker. I always want a sticker. I'm always gonna want a sticker. And then it comes with this card here. That you always get this is a monthly manifestation card, and here's the back. I'm gonna use these. I'm gonna tell you that right now, but I love this. Enchanting Altar Cauldron. So I opened it up ahead of time, so because I wanted to know. But I opened it up, the very first box. I did an unboxing in front of you, but this time we're just gonna go over in here. So I went ahead and removed the packaging and all that, just so I didn't have to do all that. But let me show you what this. So here is the cauldron, and it goes like this. So I actually wanted to purchase another one of these. I have something already on my ancestor altar, by the way, but this is really nice. So you put like a candle here, a tea light candle, something like that. You can burn your oils and herbs and things like that in here. And then there's the glass bottle, glass potion bottle, comes in this box. This is a nice bottle. Look at this. Or I should do it like that so you can see, right? It's a nice glass bottle. There's nothing on this side, just on this side, and it's raised. So that's really nice. And then there's this spoon. Okay, so first of all, I like the things come in a little baggie, because this is something I can use later, or I could just store it in here, but you get the potion spoon. An enchanting spoon to stir your intent into your magical teas and brews. Isn't this gorgeous? I think this is really nice. I'm a fan. Good Fortune Simmering Potion Blend. That would be this. So now it is, yesterday was one of the hottest days so far this year in Arizona. It got up to 113 degrees. This box arrived yesterday. I'm gonna warn you about the candles in a minute of what happened, but moving on. This is the Simmering Potion Blend. So it's let me see if I can, if you can see. These are the herbs. Pull some of them out. So these are the herbs. So it is, well, I can just look on here. What's in here? It's a blend of jasmine, chamomile, and strawberry leaf. Now, I have the jasmine and chamomile, but strawberry leaf is kind of cool. I don't have that, so that's good to know. I am growing my apothecary cabinet. It's an ongoing thing because I use things and I have to replace it, but I don't have strawberry leaf, so this is actually pretty cool to have this potion blend. Then there's the Pentacle Tea Light Candles. This is what I want to talk about. So this got, like I said, this got out of hand. Some of the wax is here. I got the notification that it got delivered, and I wasn't in a position to just stop what I was doing and hurry up and run out and get it. And boy, I wish I had. I wish I could have, because there was some slight melting. I'm not gonna fool with the other side. Ooh, yeah, there's 3. I can't even get the other one out. So anyway, if you were curious, they have the pentacle on here. Can I get this to come out? I think the other one got it got away from it. Let's see. I can't even get it out. Come on. Yeah, look. It was soft, and I went to go open it and it dug in, but that's okay. I can still use it. It's just, wonk wonk. It's a little messed up. There's more. Then we have the Calming Bath Potion. Yeah, that's this. So, Calming Bath Ritual contains all you need to wash away your stresses. Can also be used as a foot bath. So, entombed within this mysterious black package is all you need to draw yourself a calming ritual bath. It's amethyst chips, passion flower, rose petals, Yeah, so it's just that. Okay. As you envelop yourself in the magical waters, feel your stresses ebb away. Can also be used again as a foot soak. So there you go. Then there's the blue lace agate or agate that's in here. It's a perfect stone to raise your vibration, encourage positivity, tranquility, harmony, and appreciation. And then there's a lunar potion bottle enamel pin. I love the pins, by the way. This is this pin this time. Let me see if I can get that for you. So this is the enamel pin. Celebrate the ancient art of potion making with the exclusively designed pin. This ornate adornment will add magic to any jacket or bag or enhance any wall display. Abundance Potion Parchment Scroll. I'm in love with the scroll. I'm in love with the scroll. Look at this. I love this so much. This is so cool. You can see that. So there's actual color in here. This potion can be used, Abundance Potion, can be used as follows: to anoint candles and altar ware for use in spells for abundance, as a floor or door wash to attract abundance to the home, to add to ritual baths or foot soaks for personal abundance, as a hand wash to attract personal abundance. You'll need orange peel, mint, citrine. And it says you can use the potion in any of the ways suggested above, used within 24 hours. So there you go. And that completes art print. Oh, this is the art print created by our Faye. Use the reverse of the stunning art print to work. Oh yeah, so this is the art print that they were talking about. Potions, elixirs, and tinctures art print. Created by our in-house designer, Faye, especially for you. Use the reverse of this stunning art print to work on your monthly manifesting. Okay, and then frame it or add it to your Grimoire Book of Shadows. So I like that. So this is this June's box. The quality, again, I am very happy with this. I think, like I said, this comes out to be about, I think it's like 40 bucks, like $42 or something like that by the time you're done. They're a UK-based company, so, you know, it take a minute to get it. I had to learn to be a little more patient with it. But yeah, other than, you know, the fact that it takes a little bit longer, like other people get their boxes sooner that are obviously closer. It takes a little longer for me. But once you get it, it is quality products. Everything is quality. I don't feel like it's cheap. Like the pen is awesome. The different variations of herbs so far, I mean, I'm only on box 2, but I like the theme so far. Again, each of the items is a quality product. I like the glass bottle. You know, I love this. When I saw that it was going to be potions, I was very curious to know what they were going to send. Were they going to send ready-made potions? But I like it that I can make the potion myself. Although that would have been interesting if they sent a ready-made potion. That's what I thought I was going to get. Either way, I had a lot of excitement about this box. So get the book. If you're interested in Witch Casket subscription, go ahead and you can go to their website, Witch Casket, I think it's .com, but they have .co.uk. But, you know, I don't know. Well, I guess it would be that because it's UK, but I don't know if we do. I think here it is. Y'all figure it out. I am not sponsored by these people, so I'm sharing my experience with it, so I'm only gonna give so much here. But by all means, you know, purchase that if you want. I thought it was beneficial, and it really had me thinking about some other concepts and some other things. So I think it's worth a read. Happy summer solstice. Do as you will. Do what you feel called to during this time. If it's to be quiet and kind of, it's too hot and you don't want to go out and you kind of just want to be inside and chill, rest. I didn't talk to you guys during Juneteenth. I was traveling up until that point. Yeah, no, I was home, but I was like jet lagged. But anyway, I spent the day resting because I was jet lagged, and I thought that was an appropriate way to spend the day for me. Because, you know, my ancestors weren't able to just rest at will. So rest was a big part of it. So coming off of that energy for some of us, rest. You can also rest and you can celebrate. And, just if you're having a hard time experiencing joy right now, I know for me, it took literal magical intervention. Thank you, Insky. But try to find its inspiration. Hopefully this video was, and I'm in high spirits. I go on my tangents, but I'm feeling happy, and I'm just in a space of gratitude. I'm feeling myself right now. Do that. If you don't have anything else, just look in the mirror. Put some whatever, if you want to do makeup, fix yourself up. Whatever you think is attractive for you, fix yourself up. Do a little mirror magic, a little glamour on yourself. Do some words of affirmation. Just have a conversation. Let's talk to the person in the mirror and tell, start feeling yourself a little bit today. Get those vibrations up as best as you can, and use that energy for what you will. And if you're having a hard time doing it, do it as best as you can and draw in that energy. Use the mirror to help you as a portal, to draw and speak to that image, and ask for confidence and for more self-love and to feel joy and to feel like you live an abundant life. You want to live a life that you're in a space of gratitude all the time. Speak that to the mirror. Make it real. And I'll end it there. All right, thank y'all for watching. I was on here for a really long time. I didn't realize that. But I'm in a talkative mood because I'm so happy. And I just want to share the joy. And that book is really good, and I wanted to thoroughly talk about it. All right, so everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the summer solstice. And I will be back next week with the normal scheduled videos. Yeah, all right, bye. Thank you. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. All right, bye.